Hello and welcome back to Inside Out with Kris. Today is my final episode for 2023. And as usual, if you've been a listener to the podcast for a little while, you know that I like to drop in and share my lessons, my learnings, all the things, reflections of the year of the last 12 months. So I'm going to be sharing that with you today, which is super exciting because this year has been, I can't even describe it in one freaking word. So if you haven't been listening to regularly to episodes this year, let's just talk about what the year that's gone, right? So started my business in a bigger capacity. Launching that was absolutely phenomenal. And it's been a whirlwind of an experience being in the space of holding space for other women, teaching, driving them into the fullest, utmost, proudest versions of themselves. Firstly, I just need to start out by saying to the women that I've worked with that are listening to this, the women that I am continuing to work with that are listening to this episode, I love you, I am proud of you, and thank you for allowing me to be the person that has held the space for you to transform your life. I am so honored and privileged to have been your coach and your mentor over the last 12 months. And what a freaking privilege it's just been, like, to say the least, and to watch these women as they unpack their darkest parts, their wounds, their pain, their hurt, and turn that fucking pain into power. Like, I'm just so beyond proud of the people that have been plugged into me this year, and grateful and excited to continue the journey with some of you, and also just watching on the sidelines as the others all, I suppose, spread their wings and fly, right? This year I have experienced probably the biggest reflection, the biggest lesson is surrender, right? And this seems to be pretty standard in motherhood, I think, for most of us. But as some of you will know, this year alone, my husband and I both spent our birthdays in hospital. I personally had pneumonia. I was in hospital for 5 days. That came out of nowhere. My son broke his arm on the monkey bars. My daughter broke her leg falling down the stairs with her sister. My two big girls had, there was gastro that went through the house. There was sicknesses, conjunctivitis that I ended up having for like a week. That was horrific. Adult conjunctivitis, not a vibe, not a good thing. So, through all of this, it just seemed to be one thing after the next. And when you're in it, it is really, really hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm so grateful that I have the emotional awareness and self-awareness and ability to let go of those reins of control and the need to have a solution and an outcome and just be in it and surrender. And that is what I did. And that is how it played out in my world. And it was freaking amazing that I was able to sit in with that and not feel that dysregulation in the past that would come up as, oh my God, they're sick or they're broken and everything's bad and everything's wrong and I can't get done what I need to get done. Like, I just let it not be done. Like, this year we probably ate Uber Eats more times than I would have liked. I probably drank more wine than I would have liked, but I also surrendered to what is in the season of what is. And I'm so proud and really honoring and celebrating myself in that, because a past me would have been filled with so much shame and self-judgment in that I probably wouldn't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And in turn, that would have impacted into my family, the way that I parented my babies. And I'm really proud that I was able to fully let go of those reins and just surrender to whatever it was that come up. I just let it happen. It is what it is. Pivot and adapt. Like, actually change the narrative on what it's supposed to be, and that it's okay when things don't go exactly as you planned. They are happening as they are exactly supposed to happen. And also, touch wood, no more broken bones in my house, no more sicknesses. We had our fair share this year. I think we've covered ourselves for a little while. Like, let's go 2024, sick free, hospital free. That ED, man, like, I had VIP access to that ED. It was a freaking nightmare. But on the other edge of that same sword, like, it's like, and what's the worst that can happen? The worst that can happen didn't, right? We're all here. We're all healthy. We're all connected and happier than ever. And that is the best outcome for the year. My son is turning 5 shortly and starts kindergarten next year. And I started this podcast when I had a newborn. And I started this podcast when he was born. And I put the plans into place because I was seeking connection and purpose. And I wasn't willing to be that stay-at-home mum that some people I know are happy to soak in and feel like they've found their purpose when that happens. But for me, there was a lot of resistance in that. I needed to find out who I was, not simply knowing it. It was like I knew that I was a mum and I was okay with being mum, but I wanted more. And I gave myself permission, and that's permission slip all the way back then. That permission slip allowed me to step powerfully forward into who I was meant to be, and in turn has had a ripple impact. So like celebrating myself in this again, like I've impacted so many freaking lives. I know that I have. I'm confident that I have. The messages and the clients that I work with and the people that have told me that I have give me the evidence to know that I've done what I fucking set out to do when I started this podcast. And that is an incredible feeling. He enters kindergarten next year, which is just so incredible and scary at the same time. It's knowing that he's getting older and how amazing that is, that I finally feel like I'm on the other side of that trench of toddler life, right? We have 2 toddlers, 2 under 2 for a minute there. Babies in nappies, we're nearly out of that as well. And just noticing that my babies are growing up, and in that process I have been able to raise some pretty cool kids, and I've also found who the hell I am and who I'm meant to be. And if you're a new mum listening to this and feel like you might lose yourself in motherhood, or if you're a woman who has not had children yet and tossing up whether it's for you or not, like, you can find yourself in motherhood and it doesn't have to be a mum. And that's the piece that I think that I didn't know that I could have. I didn't know I could have the best of both worlds. I didn't know that I could have it all simply by deciding that I could and giving myself permission that I could, and I did. And what an honor it's been on that journey of being that version of myself. New level, new devil. I'm going to continue to grow and continue to evolve. However, I'm going to do it whilst being a present, healthy, and really happy mum, and giving my kids a beautiful and incredible life. Whilst he goes into kindergarten, my second eldest of my 2 stepdaughters enters high school, which is nuts because I was there on her first day of kindergarten as well. And I just think what a privilege it has been to be her parent and to raise her into this beautiful, thriving little girl with all the sass in the best ways. She has the ability to honor herself with boundaries, and she protects people she loves, and she is so confident now in who she is in so many ways. And I'm just so incredibly proud of her, and I'm proud of me for being her stepmom and raising her with the best of my abilities. It wasn't something that a lot of people have said that they could do, right? Raising children that aren't biologically yours. But over time, I've really come to know how much biology just is nothing to me. It really isn't. That little girl that I've raised, I believe and see and feel as that she is mine, and I'll continue to feel that way. But noticing the transition of my son entering kindergarten as she enters high school, and she was my first kid that went to school, right, that I had been a part of that journey with. So it is a really significant time in our family and our lives, and I think I'm going to learn a lot over the next couple of months with my son being in school. He is our only boy. He is full of energy and life, and he is also so vulnerable and beautiful in so many ways. But I think for me, the biggest lesson through this period has been to surrender to the season and what is, as well as knowing that I can turn my pain into power when I decide that I can, right? It just takes a decision. So yeah, that's it on the family stuff. Noticing that 2024, my heart just like, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for next year. I'm so excited to bring all of the visions and all of the powerful things that I've been working on to life in the coaching and mentoring space. I'm so excited to allow people to fully step into who they're meant to be so that they can thrive and their relationships can thrive, and women and men can feel the most congruent, clear-minded and confident versions of themselves. That is like my intentionality with my business and what I'm here to do, and I'm so sure of that. And there was a time where I wasn't sure of that, and if anything, business and operating in a business has taught me this last 12 months. It's like, you hold the cards. You get to decide what you want. If you want it, go get it. Like that saying, I think I put on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, maybe last week, if you wanted to, you would. So how bad do you want the thing? How bad do you want it all, or nothing at all? Or how bad do you want anything, right? if you want it bad enough, you'll get it. You've just got to decide that you can. Carl Jung says, if you think you can, you will. If you think you can't, you won't, right? So noticing that anything is actually possible if you decide that you want it bad enough. And that's probably been the biggest takeaway for me in business this year, and something that I would love for you guys to sit with and let land. So that is really all I wanted to share with you. Outside of that, just a big thank you to everyone that has supported and continues to listen to this podcast each week and ask when the next episode is coming out, as I have navigated parenting and business over the last 12 months. It's because of you and you listening to it each week that I will continue to share these conversations and share these mindset tips, parenting stories, and guest interviews. It's because of you that this podcast has seen so much success, and I'm so fucking grateful for you. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for always tapping into these episodes. And I hope you have a beautiful Christmas with your family, a very happy new year, and get ready, if you want to, and if you decide that you want to, get ready to set 2024 on fire. I forgot where I wanted to go with that. We will be back really soon with more episodes in January. If you enjoyed this episode, please hit like and subscribe. And if you're listening to it, hit follow on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you don't miss the next drop coming to you January 2024.